Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the AI Summit. My name is Tim Ensor, and I'm going to be your host today through our amazing lineup of speakers. We've got so many great speakers here to share their experience and their insight into how artificial intelligence is changing our world. I'm part of the team at Cambridge Consultants, and our mission, our purpose, is to help leaders and their teams, ambitious leaders and their teams, create truly unique products and services. We help them to see a future which is unconstrained by the kind of thinking that we spend our day-to-day worlds occupied with, and see how we can get through that to a better future, which is going to make a real difference to people and to business and ultimately to the world. And in recent years, artificial intelligence has been such an amazing enabler to realize that kind of unconstrained thinking, that kind of new vision of what's possible. And so I'm really thrilled to be here and also to have had the privilege to chair, this is my 5th AI Summit that I've been able to guide us through over the last couple of years. So fantastic caliber of speakers as always. The exhibitors just over the way are here to be able to share the latest in their technologies. And so I hope we can all find time to learn something new and to share our experiences together. Before I dive straight in, though, I do just need to say there aren't any fire alarms planned for today, so if you do hear one, it's for real. So please find out where the exits are. And also, of course, please just check that your phones are on silent. So, the AI Summit is one of the anchor events of London Tech Week, and this is a festival with events going on all over the city. And the mission of London Tech Week is really to bring together the great and the good, that's you guys, to discuss the impact of technology on society. And I find this a really exciting vision because it allows all of us to kind of get a glimpse of what the future might look like if we think outside our current constraints. So over the next 2 days, we'll be hearing about loads of new technology innovations from our speakers and from the exhibitors over the way. We'll be learning loads of case studies and getting advice on how to put AI into practice and take those innovations to scale. We've got entrepreneurs from startups and from corporates to share their experiences with us. And I would say just by being together and reconnecting and forming new connections, we will be helping to build that thriving tech industry. So an exciting few days ahead of us, and you're definitely in the right place to get a sense of what the future might hold. Speaking of place, thank you, great thanks to the Tobacco Dock team. This is a new venue for us, as regulars will know. I think this is amazing. What a great atmosphere to be able to meet in this venue, which has got so much history behind it. The Tobacco Dock was originally built in 1812. Some of you may have seen the signs outside. And it was a hub for precious cargoes arriving from the New World, including wines and spirits and, of course, tobacco. And originally, this site spanned 70 acres, so it was enormous. And it had capacity to store 8 million gallons of wine and spirits, just imagine. That's about 12 Olympic swimming pools. And at the time, I would say it was a real symbol of the success and power of the UK in the Industrial Revolution. And over the last 10 years, this site has been revamped and re-energized into the conference center that we're enjoying today. And I've got to say, I think it's really fitting that we meet here, because actually we being here is in many ways a symbol of the success of the UK in the current industrial and digital revolution. And so I hope that all of you get time to enjoy the atmosphere here, take some time to explore, and potentially make your way up onto the roof bar or the terrace at the end of the day. So that's where we are physically, but where are we in the current industrial and digital revolution? Where have we got to? Now, I think if I look at all of the current macro trends, in my view, they all point to AI's continued march towards global commercial impact. And as I was reading through the Stanford AI Index report, which is a great document published by the Stanford team, there were 3 things which really jumped out at me as emblematic of where we are. And the first is associated with investment growth. There's been a continued private investment growth into AI startups and AI companies. In 2021, the amount of private investment doubled over the value of 2020, to $93.5 billion of private investment in AI. But more interestingly, I think the concentration of that investment also increased. So last year there were 15 investment deals worth over $500 million each, whereas last year there were only 4. And so we just see the sense whereby AI startups are maturing. The investment community is continuing to have confidence in the returns they're going to see from those investments. And so they're continuing to back the AI industry in its march towards commercial impact. The second one, which I was really interested in, and it wasn't called out in the report, but it was in the detail, is that this year the number of AI patent applications will overtake the number of AI academic journal papers. And I thought that was really interesting. So last year there was 172,000 AI academic papers. And working in AI for a while, it's been a strange field that it's the only field I've ever worked in where business people go and read academic papers to understand what's coming next. And last year there were 144,000 patent applications. But the number of patent applications is growing at 77% per year. It's growing massively. And so this year, 2022, will therefore be the first year that there are more AI patents than there are journal papers. I thought that was really interesting. And then the last one was something I alluded to last year, which is the increasing relevance of human-centric thinking when people are building AI systems. And so there's been a huge amount of research, as I'm sure we're all aware, in ethics, transparency, diversity, bias questions around AI. And the amount of research going on to this has grown 5-fold since 2014, so an enormous amount of effort going into this topic. But what's really exciting is that in recent years, the industry participation in that debate has grown massively. So last year, at one of the major conferences on the topic of AI ethics and bias, there were 53 representatives speaking with industry affiliation, not academics. And that's grown hugely from only about 5 industry representatives only a couple of years before. So massive move for industry into the realm of ethics and how do we get AI to work successfully. And at a societal level, we've also seen an enormous increase in lawmakers' interest in the topic. So 2016, there was only 1 global law passed about AI, whereas last year there were 18. So a huge amount of interest and focus on this. Now, of course, all this value from AI fundamentally comes from the amazing abilities that we've seen AI show over the last couple of years. And so at the AI Summit each year, I like to just lift the lid a little bit on what's going on in R&D around the world. And at this time each year, I sit down with our AI Tech Watch team, Cambridge Consultants, who provide some horizon scanning services for some of our clients, just to give them a sense of what is coming down the road. And we picked out 3 topics which we think were particularly indicative of where we are this year. And the first one is the combination of vision and language. So last year, we talked a lot about the incredible abilities of language models. So GPT-3 and others are getting larger and larger. Their ability to understand human language and interact with us has just been incredible. This year, there's been a real combination of language and image together. And at a fundamental level, that can be as simple as models which learn when you present it with an image, it can answer written questions about them. So it could, you can give it an image. I saw some very funny ones of a child sitting in a fridge, and you show the AI the image, and you say, "Where's the child?" in text, and it says fridge. So it's some amazing abilities, but the really interesting point is that the benchmark results are getting to a par with human abilities. And whenever you see an AI model getting to a par with human abilities, you kind of really get a sense that something new can start to happen. So vision and language is a key topic. The next one I wanted to raise is generative AI. Now, this has been something which has been happening for a while, where there are classes of AI models which can create new content based on the inputs that you give them. And linked to the vision and language model trend, we've seen some really eye-catching results from OpenAI's DALL-E and DALL-E 2 models, and most recently, Imagen from Google. And they're fantastic. I have to say, they're going to transform the way that we think about graphics and stock images. So I just went and had a quick look. So you can go to the website, and I just put in some text. I have to say it gave me some examples to choose from. But if you give it the text, a photo of a raccoon wearing a cowboy hat and black leather jacket, skateboarding in a garden. If I just give it this text, it creates this image for me. It just imagines from all of the images it's seen what that might look like. So as you can see, this is going to kind of transform how stock imaging works in the commercial world. If we go to another one, which is slightly more dramatic, you can get some novel story-like language. Single beam of light enters the room, beam of light illuminating an easel. On the easel there is a Rembrandt painting of a raccoon. And it draws this for you, which is just astounding that you can just give this text to this AI model, and it's able to generate this content for you. So I think it's really quite amazing where this level of technology has got to. Now, on a more serious note, in generative AI, we're also starting to see this in more serious applications, such as weather forecasting. So DeepMind released a model recently where it was able to outperform traditional mathematical techniques in forecasting the weather up to 90 minutes in the future, just by being able to imagine, based on the data it had got, what was likely to happen in the coming period. So really exciting stuff. The last one I want to highlight was the efficiency of AI. So AI's done amazing things, but joined to that, there's lots of commentary about the amount of compute power it requires and the amount of energy that then therefore consumes. And in recent years, our head of AI research started talking about a topic of AI learning more naturally. And we're starting to see the fruits of that now. So DeepMind, and we'll hear from Colin a little bit later, DeepMind very recently released a model called Flamingo, and this is in the same vein as visual language models that I've just described. But this model was able to outperform a whole load of benchmark state-of-the-arts, but having only 32 examples to learn from. So that's an amazing marker where you can get few-shot learning to achieve state-of-the-art performance on many measures with only 32 examples. And another example recently was ByteDance with Tsingtao University. They're working in deep reinforcement learning. And again, on a typical benchmark test where they've got a suite of computer games they need to compete against, their model was able to double the performance of the previous best in class with only 1% of the training examples. Double performance, 1% of training. So it's really exciting just to see the way in which AI is increasingly becoming more efficient and therefore more valuable. A lot of stuff going on, loads of things happening, both at the commercial level and at the technical level. And so all of us need some guidance on the key things to focus on. And I'm thrilled to say that our speaker lineup today could not be better for that. We've got thought leaders from some technology giants, including Seth Dobrin from IBM, Colin Murdoch from DeepMind, our very own Maya Dillon from Cambridge Consultants. We've got entrepreneurial leaders from some of the biggest brands to explain how they're putting AI into practice with case studies. We've got Tav Najjar from McDonald's. We've got Ahmed Manshawi and BJ Kumar from MasterCard, somewhere around. And we've got the ever-energetic Alberto Prado from Unilever a little bit later. We were going to have a session on diversity and inclusion. Very sadly, Rikia has not been able to make it to be with us today because there's been some chaos getting over from Zurich. So that session later this afternoon will not happen. But I suspect that diversity and inclusion as a topic will surface in many of our conversations and many of the tracks today. And finally, we've got input from government speakers. We've got Catherine Magnay from UKRI, talking about what the UK government is doing to support innovation. And we're also very privileged to have some very senior speakers from the UK Ministry of Defence joining us later to talk about what they are doing in the world of artificial intelligence. So, at the beginning of my opening comments, I shared with you a little bit about Cambridge Consultants' vision and passion for this future unconstrained by current thinking. And we always look to help our clients try and reach that and see what that future might look like. And we always know we're onto something good when our conversations include clients saying, what if? What if we could do this? So what if we could learn something about our consumers, about their habits, on their health, something that even they don't know about? Just think about the services that we could give them. Just think about how we could help them to lead happier and healthier lives. What if we could make a phone call from anywhere on the planet, literally, or get 5G telecom signal from the stratosphere? Even in disaster zones or war zones, people could get the information and the help they needed. What if we could store all the world's digital data in DNA? It lasts for thousands of years at room temperature with no power. We wouldn't need to build all these data centers to store our emails. So these are the kind of what-if conversations we've had with our clients in recent years, and we've done all those things. So today, many of you may be asking what-if questions, which might be as simple as, what if I could reproduce this AI academic research with my data for my customers? Or it might be something as profound as, what if we could make blockchain truly sustainable? Whatever it is for any of us, I really want to encourage us while we're here, while we're away from the office, to practice that unconstrained kind of thinking. We've got a great opportunity to be together. We've got a great opportunity to ask those big questions, to share our experiences together, and really to get inspired by what we can do as a tech industry. So whilst we're here, I really want to encourage us to take the opportunity to create something new. It's a great time to be working in AI. There is so much going on, and I think this event is a fantastic opportunity for us to connect.